Hi everyone, in this video, we will take you step by step in setting up your Prestige L2 DTF printer. First, unwrap all of the contents taken out of the crate. You will also need to remove some of the plastic wrap from the printer itself, since some of the required accessories have been stored inside the front cover. Inside the box, you want to locate the bag of black bolts. Now locate the two legs and the 2 feet. Note, the legs actually state which side of the printer they belong to. A pro tip here is to unscrew the feet until it lifts up the feet. This will remove the wheels from the equation, helping you stabilize everything during the building process. Next, set up the feet in an upright position, and remove these pieces by unbolting these bolts using a hex key wrench. Now, bring over the legs and place them into the feet. The left side will be the left side when looking at your printer from the front. That is the same concept for the right side leg. Secure the legs to the feet using the pieces you just removed. Now find these 2 crossbars. Take one of them and we will secure it to the front of the legs. These 2 holes on the crossbar will align with these 2 holes on the legs. Same goes for the other side. In conjunction, these 4 holes will align with these bottom 4 holes on the right, and these 4 holes will align with these 4 bottom holes on the left. Use the same black bolts as before and start to bolt the cross beam in place as shown. Now, you're going to go to the back of the legs and attach the second crossbar in the exact same way. Except this one will be attached to the holes that are higher up than the front. When you're done, it should look like this from the back. Now, find the media feed reel and loosen these bolts. Then remove each side as shown. Next, take each side and using the black bolts, bolt them into these holes right above the crossbar. Note, this is a view from the back side of the legs, so you are looking at the left leg. Once secured, find this piece and attach it to the 4 holes right above using the black bolts again. Now repeat the entire process onto the other side of the leg. Next, take a small Phillips screwdriver and remove these 2 screws on each side. And remove this top piece. Now locate this metal beam and place it through the slots that you just opened up. Then replace the pieces and screw them back in to hold the beam in place. Next, take the beam from the media feed reel and place it through the first hole. Then take the rest of the unit and feed it through the second hole. Center the entire unit, then screw down these bolts on both sides to secure the media feed reel into place. Now it's time to prepare the printer to be mounted onto the legs. Locate these 2 handles on either side of the printer. You will need 2 people to lift the printer safely. Prepare a safe table that is also more narrow than the printer itself. This is because we need to remove a metal piece that was used to secure the printer to the crate from both sides of the printer. To remove this plate, you will unscrew the bolt from inside the side panels. Once the metal mounting pieces have been removed, take a look at both the printer and the stand and plan for the mounting process. We recommend having a third person who can just watch the bottom of the printer and guide the two people actually lifting the printer. Locate these two bolt heads on the bottom of the printer on both sides. These bolts will align and fit into two holes on the top of the legs on both sides. Once mounted properly, take the same black bolts and secure the printer onto the legs. Each leg will have 6 bolting locations, 3 on each side of the leg. Once complete, we want to mount the laser sensor. Find this unit and remove the zip tie to release it from the media bar. One wire will go to the laser sensor while the other wire will be the power cable to power the reel. Locate this other bag of screws and find these shorter silver screws. These 3 screws will screw into the 3 holes on the laser sensor bracket, which will attach the printer through these 3 holes. Note, the laser sensor should be facing towards the back of the printer. Now, let's install the ink containers. On each side of the ink container housing, you will see these 2 slots. Locate these screws on the back right side of the printer. The slots will fit in with these screws. First, loosen the screws to allow for enough space. Then place the ink container housing into place. Next, tighten the screws to secure the housing. This white cable connector is for the low ink warning alarm, and the black connector is for the white ink agitation system. Next, we want to connect all the tubes to the appropriate ink container. First, open up this front panel by removing these 6 screws. Now, each ink container is labeled on its cap what color it is, and each tube is also labeled what color they are for. Connect the tube to the spout of the corresponding ink container. There will be an additional tube that is much longer than the rest and has no label on it. This will go to the spout on the top of the white ink container as shown. Also, at this time, please take a close look at each of the plastic stoppers. These are used to close any of the ink lines. Make sure none of them are set to the closed position. Now carefully replace the front panel, using the front slots to run the tubes through. Make sure none of the tubes get bent or pinched like this, or else there will be an issue with the ink flow. Now head over to the front of the printer and locate the printer carriage. But before you do anything, locate the black metal bracket on the top left side of the housing. This bracket is only there to hold the carriage in place during the transport. Remove these 3 screws and store the bracket in a safe place in case you ever need to transport the machine. Now open the cover under the printer carriage and rotate this knob counterclockwise. This will lower the capping station away from the print head. allowing us to move the printer carriage closer to the center of the printer. This will provide you access to the 2 screws on both sides that have been removed first. Once removed, carefully lift the carriage housing away to expose the internal components. Next, on the top of the carriage, you will find another housing that is protecting the motherboard. Find and loosen 2 screws on each side of the housing. Then carefully lift the housing upwards to detach it from its original location. Next, locate this card. Locate these 2 boxes that house the print heads, and locate these ribbon cables. Now pay very close attention as this portion gets a bit complicated. This card will be your roadmap to this entire process. Each ribbon cable is labeled with these colored stickers. Those will correspond to the instructions on the card. These represent the print head. This side will be what faces you when the print head is installed, and this side represents the face of the print head. Now those cables will then attach to the correct slots on the motherboard as shown. Now to begin, hold the print head in this orientation. There should be 3 holes for the screws here, and no hole on the top right. Grab your first cable and start to plug into the print head ports. One note here, notice these metal lines at the end of the cable. These are called the cable teeth. For any of the cables that go into the quote-unquote down slots, the teeth will face downward. For the quote-unquote up slots, the teeth will face upwards. The other side of the teeth should have a blue tape on them. When inserting the ribbon cables, be very gentle. First, carefully align the cable and teeth into position. Then with very even pressure, gently but firmly press each cable into place. Do not use a wiggling motion to push the cables in.
Once all
the cables have been connected to the print head, carefully place the print heads into place. The front slot will be for the white print head, and the back slot will be for the color print head. Carefully place the heads into place, and make sure the orientation matches what we have here. Next, secure the heads into place by screwing them down with 3 screws each. Once complete, cut the tape provided into smaller pieces and place them at the connecting points of the ribbon cables. This will protect the electrical components from coming in contact with ink, which can burn the contact points. Next, plug in all the ribbon cables into the corresponding slots on the motherboard. Important note here is that the teeth should be facing outward and the blue tape side should be facing inward. Now, connect all the dampers to the printhead. At this time, it doesn't matter which damper goes where, just make sure the orientation is correct. Then, take a look at all the tubes. The color tubes should be all labeled, and there should be a sticker on the back of the carriage that tells you which tube goes where. Match those up and plug the tubes onto the corresponding dampers. For the white ink tubes, since they are all white, it won't matter, but you want to match the order in which the tubes are already set up to prevent any unnecessary crossovers. Now that all the dampers are in place, rotate this knob clockwise until it stops. This will re-engage the capping station to the printheads. Next, close up the motherboard and secure it with the screws you originally removed. To help with cable management, get some masking tape and fold up any of the ribbon cables that are too long and tape them up as shown. Now, we're ready to charge the lines with ink. First, fill up the ink containers full of ink. The caps will show you which colors go into which container. We also recommend not tightening the caps all the way. First tighten, then open again just a quarter of a turn. Before this next step, make sure none of the lines are closed by checking all the plastic clips. Then, using a clean syringe, charge each of the lines by removing each damper, inserting the syringe into the hole on the bottom, then pull until you get about 2 milliliters of ink into the syringe. This will fill up the line and the damper full of ink. Next, get a syringe and some paper towels. Since we just replaced the magenta damper, we will work with the colors channel. Now, lay the paper towel underneath the area to catch any ink spillage. Make sure that the printhead is connected to the capping station, and also that the lids to the ink containers are not fully closed. A good practice for this is to close it all the way, then open it a quarter turn. Disconnect the color line first by rotating counterclockwise. Now connect the bottom line to the syringe and pull about 60 milliliters of ink. To do this, pull the syringe back to create negative pressure and hold it to give the ink time to fill up. Once you start feeling less resistance, empty the syringe and repeat until you've pulled about 60 milliliters. Now to reconnect the line, since the connector does not rotate separately from the line, you will need to twist the top line counterclockwise to twist the line first. Connect it to the bottom line as is, then turn the top line clockwise to secure the connection. When done correctly, the line should be straight with no twists when it is resting. Now locate the waste tank holder and screw into these 4 holes on the back of the leg that has the letter R on it. Next, place the waste tank into the holder and locate the waste tube. The waste tube will be too long straight from the factory, so carefully cut the tube to a length where it will only reach about 3 inches into the waste tank. Now, go ahead and plug in the power cord and plug the Ethernet cable to your computer. And let's head into the computer to get the software installed. First, place the zip file of the software into a folder called print.exp. Next, in the search bar, look for virus and go to virus and threat protection. Scroll down and under exclusions, click on add or remove exclusions. Click on add an exclusion, then folder. Find the folder you just created and click select folder. Now close that window. Go to the folder and unzip the software file. Then, double-click the extracted software to open the installation wizard. Click Next. Click Next again. Click Yes. Leave the link type as is and click Next. Next again, then Next again. Now click Install and wait for it to complete. If you get this window, go ahead and select Repair and follow the process as shown. Now with the software open, you will notice that everything is in a weird language. Follow along carefully on the screen. We will be setting up the Ethernet connection to the printer and also switching the language to English. Now, restart the software so that the new settings will get implemented. Now that your software is in English, let's change some of the settings by clicking on Settings and following on the screen for all adjustments you need to make. The last steps will be to adjust and check all aspects of the print head. Go to Adjust. You'll be in the Head Install tab with Nozzle Check selected. Click Print Adjust. The printer will print a nozzle check pattern. Check the patterns for any breakages in these lines. If there are breakages, go ahead and perform a head cleaning. If there are no breakages, click on Step Adjust. Click Print Adjust, and the printer will print a new pattern. From this point on, the patterns may look different, but you're always looking for the pattern that is aligned the best. Then you will take the number of the pattern that looks most aligned and add that to whatever the current setting is set to. For this step adjust, 0 is already the best aligned, so we'll leave the current setting as is and click on Next to go to the Headspace tab with horizontal selected. First, set all values to 0 to begin. Under Left Distance, select Print Adjust. Once the pattern prints out, look for the best overlaid pattern. Here, we would choose -1. Type in -1 into Hosensoft as shown. Then click Print Verify, then Save. Next, click on the Print Adjust under Right Distance. Once the pattern prints, do the same. Here we will go with 0. Since there are no adjustments, click Next. This will be your vertical adjustment. Select Print Adjust. Once a pattern prints, do the same. Here we will select -4. Add -4 to the current setting, which is 1470. That will be adjusted to 1466. Click Save. Now click Next to head over to the color adjustment and click Left Adjust. This will print multiple sets of patterns. Check each corresponding pattern and add the number of the best overlaid pattern to the current set value on Hosensoft. Continue working at this until you've checked every channel. Once complete, click on Right Adjust, wait for the printer to print all patterns, and repeat the same methods here as you did for the Left Adjust. Once complete, click Save, then Next to head over to Bidirectional Adjustments. Here, click Print Adjust to print the bidirectional pattern. Again, you are looking for the pattern that is most aligned. Here we will select 0, which means we don't have to adjust anything on Hosensoft for this one. Go ahead and click Save. Now, head over to Advanced. Type in your password to gain access. Go to Manual Clean at the bottom. Change this to Clean Strong. Change this to 2 times. Then go to the file and hit Save to save the new settings. At this point, you are done with the entire setup process of the Prestige L2 DTF printer. Thanks for watching.